There are certain companies that owns everything in their niche, but Samsung owns everything in every niche. From constructing the world's tallest skyscrapers like Burj Khalifa and Petronas Towers to manufacture tanks or helicopters, Samsung does it all. Today we are exploring Samsung's incredible empire. We'll dive into its origin, the dark and bright sides of its operations, and 13 crazy facts that make Samsung so unique. Let's get started. This was my original idea about the Samsung, but when I searched on the internet, what I found was every other video was same, from the most popular to the least one. Then I changed my script a little bit. So sit tight and we are going to explore why they got everything instead of focusing on one thing. To understand, we need to go back to 1938 when one night Lee Byung-chul had a panic realization that he is not doing things what he meant to do. So he started a trading company called Samsung, dealing in dried fish and groceries. But he had big dreams. Why he chooses the name Samsung? Because for us it means nothing, but for Koreans means 3 stars, symbolizing greatness, power and eternity. He was all in from the very first day. When World War I was over, there was an opportunity for every businessman on the planet to start from zero and make a fortune with the right business mindset. But things were different in South Korea because they were under the control and direct influence of Japan. And because Japan colonized them, there was no chance for any business in Korea to make a fortune. After setting up the business, Lee thought there would be no more wars in Korea, but he was wrong. The time was very hard. After the successful trading business with his 40 employees, he set up a sugar refinery, and then with the profits he earned from the sugar refinery, he set up the country's largest woolen mill at the time. But why and how he gets into sugar and textile from trading? Well, at the time, Korean government was giving subsidies, grant, less interest loans to companies to make goods inside Korea instead of importing, and want to make Korea great after getting independence from Japan. But why Samsung got a chance and not any other business? Well, this is because Lee family. They were ruling elite class family in Korea and rich from the very first time. At the time of Japan, they were rich. After Japan, they are also rich. These diversifications in business allowed Lee to survive in hard times. But Samsung did not stop there. It was expanding into other line of businesses like insurance sector, the retail businesses. But in 1968, Samsung executives decided to enter into electronics market. So they started production of their first black and white TVs. This step was crucial as Lee already owned a broadcasting company, which helped them to boost TV sales. Then in 1979, they expanded the business into microwaves, and in 1980, the air conditions. But in 1980s, they were also selling millions of colored TVs. But why Samsung was getting all? This is because they were selling high quality goods at a very low prices in the same manner than Japanese were doing. So Samsung was competing with Japanese goods around the globe. But in order to manufacture all of these consumer goods, they have to rely on tons of things that they have to import. So what they did, they bought the semiconductor chip to control the supply chain. This diversification allowed Samsung to not only survive but thrive during the challenging time. But continuously entering into new industries, Samsung built a vast empire. Pause for a second and guess how many industries Samsung is operating. Well, if your guess is right, the answer is more than 80 companies. And this is a huge number of diversifications. Mostly Samsung is famous for its consumer electronic goods like TVs, smartphones. However, every empire has its shadows. After the founder's death in 1987, Samsung faced internal conflicts and scandals. The business was divided into 5 different segments with different owners. But how they managed to keep the business alive? From 2012 to 2015, they were accused of using child labor. They've also been involved in union busting activities and numerous bribery scandals. leading to high-profile arrests and convictions. In 2007, the CEO was convicted of bribing government officials, leading to prison sentence and a hefty fine. Despite this, he received presidential pardon in 2009. These incidents paint a complex picture of Samsung's internal dynamics. The company's aggressive expansion often led to ethical and legal issues. The most notable scandal include union-busting activities, where Samsung have been accused of suppressing labor unions, even resorting to extreme measures like stealing a corpse of dead worker from the union. But the scandals did not stop there. In 2016, Lee Jr. he was again highlighted in a prostitute scandal. So sad. In February 2017, Lee Jong-yong was arrested again for bribery, embezzlement, hiding assets overseas, and perjury. He was convicted and initially sentenced to 5 years but was released early. In 2020, Samsung's vice chairman apologized for these union-busting scandals. Despite these public apologies, the controversies didn't end. Lee's legal trouble continued with more allegations and retrials, highlighting the ongoing challenging with Samsung's leadership. These issues raise questions about the company's ethics and governance. On the brighter side, Samsung has contributed significantly to society. They operate hospitals, non-profit organizations, and invest heavily in research and development, making groundbreaking advancements in technology. But the R&D part of Samsung is great. No one can reach to this level. Samsung's investment in R&D have led to innovations in smartphone, electronics, and even biotechnology. Their non-profit organizations support education, healthcare, and community development. These contributions showcase Samsung's commitment to improving lives and advancing technology. Despite the controversies, Samsung's positive impact on society cannot be overlooked. If Samsung was doing anything bad that was not good in favor of Korean people, they would have not been able to reach to this stage, because I believe the bad does not last for so much long. Now let's dive into 13 crazy facts about Samsung. The founder, Lee Byung-chul, was from Korea's elite ruling class family, and they own big lands in Korea. Samsung contributes about 20% of Korea's GDP. It's the world's largest smartphone manufacturer. Samsung manufactures military hardware. It's a leading global producer of semiconductors, most of them in RAMs. In 2023, their revenue exceeded. Samsung has been an Olympic sponsor since 1998. They employ around. Samsung operates South Korea's largest theme park. Samsung Heavy Industry built luxury cruise ships. During the S3 launch, they sold 500 units per minute. They invested $22 billion in R&D. Samsung's story is one of the intense growth and diversification, marked by both impressive achievements and significant controversies. What do you think about Samsung journey? Let us know in the comments. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more deep dive into fascinating business stories and learning activities.